You know that. Star athlete, went on to play football, college, and went to Wittenberg College and graduated from Wheaton College. So we also have Macy Eicher here today, who went to F.C.A. leadership camp a couple of weeks ago, so she's going to speak about that. So which one wants to start? Macy?
Hi, I'm Macy Eicher. I'm going to be a senior this year at HHS, and I went to F.C.A. leadership camp this year, and I think it's just a really great experience all around, and I think everybody should send their kids and grandkids. We do a lot of team building and friendship making activities. I feel like a lot of times when you're going to camp, you're afraid that you're not going to have a friend with you or something like that, but we do these things called huddles, and so you're with your huddle all the time, basically all throughout the day. You do have a section of free time where if you did have a friend that wasn't in your huddle, you could hang out with them or go take a nap. We do a lot during the day, so a lot of people chose to take a nap, but yeah, so your huddle is both boys and girls, so you get a mix there, and then you also have your cabin, which contains the girls in your huddles, and then your girl huddle leader. So we do have a girl and a guy huddle leader. So I think it's really nice that they do mix girls and boys together. You know, you can make all different friends. But we usually start off in the morning by eating breakfast, and then we get to go to our Bible study, which we call strength training. And normally we had a pastor from a local church speak there. So he did kind of like just a little tiny sermon and kind of used some Bible references and stuff like that. It was just like a mini Bible study. And then we usually got to do some sort of activity for the day. They have all different kinds of stuff at Mishindo. We've been at Mishindo for the last 3 years. I think we've had F.C.A. leadership camp for like Rick said, like 6 years, but I know we've been at Mishindo for the past 3 years, and it's worked really well. We got to do rock wall climbing, zip lining, what else? High ropes, which you have like a course that you can walk up, so all different kinds of activities to do. Then you had the waterfront, which had water slides. It was basically like a water park type thing, and then they had like a little mini beach and stuff like that. So that was fun. And then we had an amazing speaker. His name was Bay Forrest. I don't know if you know him. He played in the NBA. He played for the Suns. Yeah, he played for the Suns. He was just so great. He's a really motivational speaker. He's that type of speaker where you never get bored or anything. He spoke every night at our chapel time. So our chapel time normally lasted anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. I know the last night we went way over because everybody wanted to sing more songs. But yeah, we just had a lot of fellowship there, and I think that camp really helps you, especially if you're like new in your faith. It helps you grow in your faith a lot because it teaches you like how to do things. Like it's not intimidating where they're like, okay, you need to study this or you need to pray in front of everybody. Like they teach you how to pray and how to read the Bible, and the people in your group just like help you out, and you can just support each other and stuff like that. So it also helps you be more bold in your faith, stuff like that. So like just learning how to do different stuff, and I think it's really a motivational camp, and I think that everybody should go to it and experience it, and it's just great. You can really feel like the Holy Spirit moving through everybody there. Everybody there is amazing. They have amazing leaders. I'm really hoping that I can go back and be a leader some year because it is so fun. And last year it was different because of COVID. We could only stay 2 days, so we had to go back home in between. But this year was really, I don't know, it was just amazing going from last year to this year because you don't think it's that much of a difference, like not staying overnight, but the time in your cabin with like your girls or your guys that you just get to build relationships with and talk to, it's just an amazing experience. And the girls that I was in my cabin with, I was in with one other Hicksville girl, Lindsay Bergman, and then 2 other Wauseon girls, so they are farther away from me, but we just built such good friendships that we are planning on like meeting up and stuff and hanging out. And Macy Garrig was one of them. I don't know if you know her. She's from Wauseon. She wrote a book actually, She's going to be a junior this year, and it's called Dear Teen, We're in This Together. And it's a book for mostly girl teens, but I mean, it could be for anybody, but it's mostly like guiding you through high school and stuff, being a Christian in high school. So she's really great. She just had a book signing in Hicksville that I got to see her again. So yeah, it's just a really great place for growing in your faith, being more bold in your faith, making those friendships, and just learning new things and experiencing new things. So I think it's a really great experience. Thank you.
You're not done. Say something about the mud and the bubbles.
Oh yeah, we did have a messy night where we had the mud pit, which we had to go through, and it was just, you got completely muddy. And then we also had this foam water slide that you could go down. It was like on a hill on a tarp, and they had like this machine that created bubbles and stuff, and the bubbles were like, I don't know, like 4 feet off the ground. Like they were so high, and you just disappeared when you went through them. So yeah, we got to do that, and then we did our egg toss that we got eggs just everywhere on us, and then we had like 30 minutes to shower before chapel, so the girls were like freaking out, but we made it. So, but does anybody have any questions about like anything that we do at camp or anything like that?
Was it just for leaders or just anybody, and it was just entitled the leadership conference?
I feel like it's more like titled leadership camp, because like you learn how to like become that leader, and most of it's focused on like taking what you learned from camp and taking that back to your high school, because I know nowadays it's so hard like for Christians to be bold in high school, knowing that it's like not the in thing. So I think that's why it's called leadership camp, just teaching you to like be bold and be a leader, and just take that with you back to your school, back to your huddles at school, and everything like that. Any other questions?
What age groups? What were the ages from camp that could go?
Yeah, I think it was junior high and high school, so 7th through 12. 6 through 12. So middle school through high school, 6 through 12, anybody could go. So we did have junior hires there, and which is nice because then they got to see the high schoolers and learn from them. And there was junior high huddles separate, so we weren't really in huddles together, but like I said, during free time, some of our activities were all together too, and like chapel and everything, junior high and high school were all mixed together, so we still got to hang out with the junior high, but not like, we weren't all with them all the time.
How many athletes are playing for Hicksville?
3. 5? Oh, junior high boys, yeah, see, I didn't know that. Who was that then?
I don't know. And Joey
Got it. So 3 high schoolers and 2 junior high boys. The high schoolers were me, Lindsay Bergman, and Carl Rupert. So we are aiming to try to spread it more. We did hand out flyers and stuff, but I know it can be intimidating, especially it being titled leadership camp, but it's really for anybody, even like unbelievers that want to like experience something. Like I invite all my friends, whether they're Christian or not. I think it's a fun experience all around, and I know that if you do invite an unbeliever, I've seen amazing things happen at that camp where they can be saved at that camp. Like it is so awesome. So I really invite all my friends, Christian or not. Thank you for listening.
Great job, Macy. I'm going to walk around, and we want to add, Turk and Steve are going to pass those out. I'm going to be up here, and I've got a short little PowerPoint, about 7 slides, and I'm going to use that. So if you want to turn around. Sorry, Dr. Albert. There's a couple things about camp and F.C.A. F.C.A. is the world's largest sports ministry, and if you want to learn more about F.C.A., website with tons of resources for different ministries. It's just FCA.org, real easy. And our local website is bbfca.org. That stands for Buckeye Board FCA. We work in the 5 northwest corners of Ohio and 2 in Michigan. So it's bbfca.org. There's a lot more about the camp on there. But it's, like Macy shared, this was our 6th camp. And if I had grandchildren, or if I was a parent with children in that age group, I would do everything possible to get them at that camp. It is life-changing, it is incredible, it is amazing. Right? Amazing. So it'll be at the same time next year, the 3rd week in July. We have that reserved already. And we're also going to have a golf outing coming up. I got some cards if you want to take one. It's in 9/11, September 11th. So we're going to have a little ceremony since it's the 20th anniversary of 9/11. But I know Turk's going to put together a team, and all the money raised for the golf outing goes to the camp. So all we're going to talk about now is a project that we've been working on for 2 years now. We had a little delay because of COVID, but I know Turk's been on the team, and Steve has been on the team. We've been working on this. It's called Growing God's Way. Now, if you haven't heard it or you don't know about it, and you haven't talked to Turk or Steve, you might think that's about gardening. In fact, if you Google, you'll come up with some gardening websites and stuff like that, but it's not about gardening. It's about raising our children. Let me introduce you to the team so you have an idea. One of the things from the very beginning, we wanted to be this as broad-based as possible, both in our community and in our churches. And so this is the list of our team. There's myself, Carolyn Gallup, and Dale's on there, Rod Conkle, Jay Mass, Roger, Vicki Gatchell, Jay and Michelle Scott, and Tim Guilford. These 12 people have been since the very beginning. What happened when I first thought about doing this, I emailed a lot of my contacts and set up a meeting a year ago this month, or 2 years ago this month. And all these people show up at that meeting, plus a few more that haven't been able to be involved as involved as we are. But they've been there the whole time, working on this, praying about this, and getting the information out and stuff. And of course, we got delayed because of COVID. We got official approval from the school board, and we worked with the school the whole time. We had lots of discussions with Mrs. Kaufman and Mr. Countryman about how it would work, and they helped us lay out our plan. And we got official approval from the board this past April. And so since then, we've been meeting every 2 weeks to lay it out and work it out and do everything, all the logistics and everything needs to be done. This group represents 5 different churches in the community, plus Turk, for some reason, goes over to Central, but that's okay. So 6 churches. And there's on the flyer that you handed out, there's a list of all the churches that are supporting in some way or another. I know not all the churches in the community are on there, but all the churches have been contacted. And the ones who aren't on the list are basically waiting to have a board meeting and get formal approval. So we're waiting until we get that before we put them as a list of the supporting churches. So that's our team. And as I said, it's about the children. And I can't say enough about the challenges that our children are facing. I've been working with F.C.A. for 12 years now, and I've been substitute teaching for 6 years. So I'm up at the different schools a lot. And it's changed so much since I was in school. When I was in school, the Ministerial Association, some of you might remember this, came into the schools. I don't remember if it was monthly or quarterly, wherever they did programs with the kids. Teachers would pray in school. They would read scripture verses. If you go back farther, if you're familiar with our educational system, you'll know that up until about the 1930s, 1940s, scripture was an integral part of our education program. How many of you have heard of McGuffey's Reader? McGuffey's Reader. Some of you might have old copies. I was full of scripture. And they were taught stories about the commitment and the dedication of our founding fathers to Christianity, to God, and the role that Christianity played in our revolution and reform their nation. That's all gone, completely gone out of our school system. One of the things I do is I talk with different sports teams, and you go around there, and let's say you have 50 kids in a football team, and you share a Bible story. You are lucky if 5 or 6 of those kids know who David is, know who Moses is, know who Paul is, any of the major characters of the Bible. They just don't get it. They're not engaged as they need to be in their churches, and they don't get anything out of the school. So it's a program where you can go to the school, make available Bible teaching to kids will be instrumental in establishing foundation, ethical and moral foundation for these kids, along with hopefully getting their sights more on spiritual things and a relationship with Jesus Christ. Ironically, one of the first things we did when we started meeting in the spring is bring Joyce Berthold in, who, most of you know who Joyce is? Joyce, incredible lady. She's been doing a program like this, or helping with a program like this over in Antwerp for 50 years. So it's nothing, there's nothing new. It's a great program. So she gave us a lot of advice and help and to work on it. But we're going to focus on the kids. We're planning on having about 100, hope to have 100 kids. We're average about 20 kids a class. It'll be K through, we're going to start with K through 4. The idea, a little bit better idea of what we're all about. We have a vision. Our vision is to see positive character and spiritual transformation in the children of Hicksville through quality Bible instruction. And our mission is to establish and oversee interdenominational Bible instruction for all K through 12 students in the community of Hicksville. And by the way, everything I'm sharing here is in this flyer. Okay, so there's not going to be anything new. So you can take that with you and share with other people. And just spread the word about what we're doing. And here's the schedule we set up again. We worked with the school and to determine what would best, what would be work with the school. And they're cooperating. They're going to provide transportation for the kids after the program. But it's going to be Monday afternoons, immediately after school. We start at 2:50 and go till 4 o'clock. There'll be 27 sessions, so those sessions will be on Mondays running from September 27th to April 25th. And on the advice of Joyce Berthold, she said, don't do May because the kids are outside, they're playing ball, they're everything. It's just not worth doing stuff. Here's the schedule we set up. We worked with Mrs. Kaufman, and the schedule we set up is that we'll bring the kids, have the kids come into the commons at 2:50 for 10 minutes there, provide some snacks for them, because most of them will be starving by then. And then we'll go into the gym and do a little warm-up, probably some singing and maybe some other little activities to loosen them up a little, what I call a warm-up. And then from 3:15 to 3:55, we'll go into the classrooms. Again, we hope to have in each classroom, we hope to have at least one teacher, one aide, and one volunteer. So each class will be broken up. The material we're using comes from Gospel Project, and we've got that order, so I can't wait to see what that looks like. We're excited about that. And then finally pick up at 4 o'clock. Here's what our needs are. We need prayer. We need lots of prayer. This again, when you look at what's happening to our children today, the things that they encounter on the internet and the school and the messages that they're hearing about sexual identity and everything else that they hear is just unbelievable. So we're engaged in a battle for the hearts and souls and minds of our children, and hopefully we can make an impact in their school with this program. So we need lots of prayer for that. Again, I mentioned the instructors. We need instructors, aides, and volunteers. So at a minimum of 15 total for the 5 classes in each class. We got our first application received this weekend from Lisa Savage. So if you know Lisa, tell her good job. So that was really exciting. I handed out some stuff at church, and she got the application filled back to me Sunday afternoon. So she's excited. And of course, funding's going really well. We're in pretty good shape. But if you're interested, if you're still interested, you feel like you want to help, that's fine. One thing I'd like to do for us, once you start ministering to these kids and get them in the classroom, you become aware of a lot of their personal needs and where they need help and stuff. So I'd like for us to be able to set up an F.C.A. fund where we can, where there are some financial needs or help the kids, or if they need some, if a kid that needs some help with Christmas presents or birthday presents, we can do some of that stuff. So all the funds will be used for good purpose. So that's what our needs are. As far as contacting us, this is our address, and it's on that little card and in the flyer. Our address, we don't have a web page. We're kind of holding off on that for now because of what it's involved. But we do have a Facebook, so you can go Growing God's Way at Hicksville. Just Google that or search that on Facebook, and you'll bring up our Facebook page. And we also have an email. It's a little long, but that's how it got set up. But you can send us messages and talk to us. So everybody's really excited. The support from the community has been incredible. Couldn't have asked for it to be any better. So I appreciate the opportunity, Turk, you gave us to come in and share both about Fellowship of Christian Athletes at Growing God's Way. So, any questions?
You might have said it, but there is no charge to the kids.
Oh, no. We went fully funded. They don't need it. No. Any questions?
I agree more or less said it, but I think you get that, we are looking for people to be teachers and aides and volunteers, and if anybody knows anybody they think would be good for that, we'd encourage them to get an application. They could get it from us. Not anybody named in here has contact information, but that's one of the big things right now in that process, looking for people doing the teaching stuff. So.
Yeah, thanks, sir. There's only 2 qualifications to help with the program. You don't have to have a master's or PhD in education. You have to love kids, and you have to love Jesus. That's all. That's all you have to do. And show up. We'll help you with that.
I applaud you for your outreach, and I applaud the school for allowing you and accepting you into the system. People need to do something. We keep talking about the same issues and problems, but until we actually have action and outreach in a Christian manner, I think that's number one, to teach kids foundation and purpose. Thank you for all you're doing at the school and everything. I think it's wonderful.
And I'll just throw a little another one of my things in. We look national, all the problems we're facing. I mean, nobody's got their head in the sand. Everybody knows we're the mess. We're in worse shape than we've ever been historically since the Civil War. And I don't know what's going to solve. What I do know is the only solution is going to come from the church. The church has got to come together. That's why I'm so excited that this is a multi-church program. Maybe we can set the example from other communities. I'm thinking about other projects we can work on in our community that the churches come together. That's the only place the solution is going to come from. Nobody else can get their act together. So this is a little piece that Hicksville can do. I'm really excited about being part of it.
Schools help about, as much as they can. They're very excited about it. As Rick said, they've offered buses. We have to pay bus drivers if we need them, but they have offered use of the buses and stuff. So the school's been really great in supporting us and helping. And like Rick said, it's a totally community-wide, broad bunch of businesses. Pretty much all the churches are pretty excited about it. Some have to get their leadership teams together and talked about that. But from individuals to businesses to churches, it's a complete community effort.
Okay. No questions?